All right. Yeah. Thanks for that. I guess the necessity of the universe. I mean, that seems almost preposterous to me to think that it just so happens that there have to be 10 to the 80th particles in the universe, and it just so happens that gravity has to have such and such a strength. All of these things just seem to smack of contingency, and so that doesn't seem like a good explanation to me. The question of why, if the spatio-temporal order has always existed, we still need an explanation for it. I thought that I had addressed that. Maybe not. I mean, Alexander Proust gives the example of a cannonball is fired, right? And the cannonball is fired at 12 o'clock and it lands at 12:02. So we take from 12:01 to 12:02. We can divide that into an infinite number of points, right? Because time is continuous. We then say each position of the cannonball is explained by the one before it. There's always one before it because it's not it's non-inclusive 12:01. And then we've explained the flight of the cannonball, right? And you say no. Like, that doesn't make sense. And I mean, if you think about like a book, and somebody gives you a book, and you say, where did this book come from? And you say, well, the book has always been here. Somebody else had it, and that's not an explanation. That's not an explanation to the why question. And so I don't think that's a satisfactory answer. Science does tell us a lot of stuff. It gives us a lot of good explanations that people can agree on, that are very elegant and whatever. This is also something that I thought I addressed. I'm not sure why that's supposed to be an argument for naturalism. Because if this is something that just happened, I'm not sure that we would expect that it would be as intelligible as it is. That science would work as well as it does. It seems that that's more probable if it's the result of a rational agent or of something like God. Fine-tuning, I'm not quite sure what Charles's point was. I mean, it's true that we're here and the universe is here, and we couldn't live in the universe if it wasn't suitable for life. But that doesn't give us an explanation of why, given the massive improbabilities that seem to be involved, the universe is suitable for life. The explanation that John Leslie gives is you're put before a firing squad, and there are like 100 sharpshooters, and they're all like 5 feet away from you, and they all fire their guns, and the bullets all miss. And you wonder, why did these bullets all miss? But then you think, well, of course I wouldn't be here to ask the question of why they all missed if they had killed me. So there's no problem. But that seems to mess up the order of explanation. The question to be explained is why these conditions obtain to begin with. And if we say that they're just something that happened, that doesn't seem satisfying. So yeah, regarding pragmatic considerations, I think Charles might have misunderstood me. I thought that I took pains to say that you shouldn't believe it if it goes against the rest of your evidence. Of course you shouldn't believe it if it goes against the rest of your evidence. All I'm saying is that if you're in a position where you have things that are live options, then yeah, that is something that it's okay to take into consideration. I mean, it would be silly not to. Now, the point about morality, I don't know. I guess I think morality is made out of sterner stuff than Charles does. He seemed to basically grant my point regarding what morality would be under naturalism, but just claim that morality isn't that, and that's not what we want. But I think we do want something that's objective and that's binding and that isn't just dependent on people's desires. I mean, if some aliens come and they just start like murdering everybody, we would be like, hey, aliens, stop murdering everybody. And they would say, why should we stop murdering everybody? And you would say, because it's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And they say, why? And you say, well, we happen to evolve this way. And they say, we evolved a different way. And we say, yeah, that's true. I guess there's nothing I can say anymore. Like, we'll fight you, but like, there's no real fact of the matter about whether you should be murdering everybody. That doesn't seem right. I mean, and the fact that, yeah, I mean, sometimes morality will work to our self-interest in temporal terms. Sometimes it won't. I mean, Kim Jong-il, does he have a reason to do the moral thing and like turn his country into a democracy? It doesn't seem like he does. And so just saying, well, it'll be good for you in the long run on that doesn't seem correct on naturalism, right? The state ideology of North Korea is called Juche. I think I'm saying that right. The principal axiom of it is that man is the master of everything and decides everything. This is in a normative sense, I assume. I don't guess it's some sort of scientific anti-realist statement or something. And that, I mean, I know people who think that. They're good, they're nice people, right? Like, and not all naturalists do think that. But that's certainly something that a theist couldn't think. And there are reasons why rejecting that might seem more plausible under theism than on naturalism. And I mean, like, there is, I guess, maybe a sense of freedom in that. But I mean, there's a reason why when people for long periods of time in large numbers take seriously the idea that man is the master of everything and decides everything, it turns into the strongest man is the master of everything and decides everything. And that's because if that's true, then why not? You have no other appeal to make. So Charles seems to agree with the following statement from Christian Smith. The person who lives in a naturalistic universe may certainly choose to affirm universal benevolence and human rights, but they may just as reasonably choose some other, quite or even radically different moral position. At bottom, they do not occupy grounds for making compelling and binding claims on others on behalf of universal benevolence and human rights. And that seems like an unacceptable position to me. So if that is what naturalism leads to, which Charles seems to grant, then that seems to me like a reason to reject naturalism. I guess, yeah. I guess Charles hasn't had the sorts of experiences that would incline people to religious belief. Yeah, I mean, what do we want to say about the fact that it seems like there are people who, would like to believe in God, who try, who seem to, honestly just find themselves unable to. I mean, I think, first of all, that if you reject the idea that these people are going to get tortured forever, which I do, like, it seems like it's a lot easier to think of plausible reasons that this might be the case. I don't know. One thing a lot of religious believers, saints and mystics as well as just normal people, report times in their life when they find it very difficult to believe in God, dark night of the soul and whatever, and they then report that this ultimately causes them to have a closer communion with God by increasing their yearning or whatever. This isn't something I'm just making up. This is empirically. This is something that happens. The fact, I don't know, Charles told us that he didn't want God to exist. So if you don't want God to exist, then, I mean, if he wants to be on good terms with you, maybe it's better if he doesn't force himself on you, right? I mean, if all it's going to do is breed resentment and make you unhappy and like make you be like, you stupid God, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. This is, I mean, and I mean, I guess part of what we might want to say is that maybe God wants people to relate to God in communities, and that means that if these communities break down, then it might be harder for individuals to relate to God, and that's not their fault. It's the fault of that community for being negligent in some way. But that's still, I mean, that would be partly an explanation. So I don't know if that's the sort of problem that I guess Charles thinks that it is. So yeah.